Hey everybody, welcome back to Vine of Calvary with David and Lisa. It's good to see y'all. Hope y'all had a blessed week this week. This morning we're going to teach from Malachi, chapter 1 through chapter 4. Now, not every verse, but we're going to go through Malachi on some things that I think that the church needs to hear.
Yes.
And we've come in agreement that I think the church really needs to hear this. And we're going to start with Malachi chapter 1. Verses 6 through 10. A son honoreth his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where is mine honor? And if I be a master, where is my fear? Saith the Lord of hosts unto you, O priests that despise my name, and ye say, wherein have we despised thy name? Ye offer polluted bread upon mine altar. And ye say, wherein have we polluted thee? In what ye say, the table of the Lord is contemptible. And if ye offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil? And if ye offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person? Saith the Lord of hosts. And now I pray, beseech God, that he will be gracious unto us. This hath been by your means. Will he regard your persons? Saith the Lord of hosts. Who is there even among you that would shut the doors for naught? Neither do ye kindle fire on mine altar for naught. I have no pleasure in you, saith the Lord of hosts. Neither will I accept an offering at your hand.
That's right. Oh, he's not here. Okay. A lot of times we try to honor God, but we do it in a wrong way. We should really reverence what we do, and we need to give back to Him what is required from Him. And what they were doing here is what He was trying to explain to them. If you honor your father, I'm your father, and if you respect your master, which I am also your master, but you do neither to me, you actually give me the less of what I asked for. You basically give me, okay, like you said before, if they give you $5,000 and you give him $5, that's not giving back to him what you asked for, because you're still going to ask him, Lord, would you please bless me with some more things that I need? I need healing, I need health, I need a new truck, I need a new house.
But you're not willing to sacrifice anything for God.
Right. We're supposed to be able to give back and reverence Him for all that He's done for us, because we have 100% of everything that's been given to us is from God. He's given us our life, He's given us our children, He's given us our home, He's given us our job. Everything comes from Him. Every single thing that we have comes from Him.
Yes, it does.
And we don't appreciate that enough, and we don't reverence Him enough for what He's given us.
Right.
And He just requires that we give back into Him 10% of everything He's given us, which includes your time.
Exactly. And I think our biggest problem is, as a whole in general, is we will reverence people more, everyday people, our brethren, our bosses, our supervisors, our cousins, our nephews, whoever it is. We'll reverence them. We'll give them the best that we have. We'll go over and beyond to do so much for them, but yet at the same time, we're not doing that with God.
Right.
And I think a lot of things is because physically you can't see God.
Right.
And I think because we are the mankind to please mankind. We're so tied up into, we want this person to appreciate us. We want this person to like us. We don't want this person to say something bad about us. We want to do these things for mankind, but in fact, we've got it twisted and we've got it backwards. We need to be doing this for God and not for mankind.
Right.
We need to be giving our all to God. And once you love God and love Him with all your being and all your might,
Right.
Everything else is going to come into place where it needs to be. And the way that you reverence also people around you as higher than you reverencing God first, and He's going to
Right.
give you the things that you need, and He'll change your heart if you
That's
let
right.
Him. And so then it all comes into order.
Right. One more thing that he said, who is there even among you that would shut the doors for naught, neither do you kindle fire on my altar for naught? And what he said there is basically most people as Christians, you have, how do I put this? You want something for something. But right here he's saying you're basically wanting something for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you give, even if you're doing what you're supposed to, you're supposed to be giving out of a cheerful giving or a giving out of the goodness of your heart in thanks for what you've been given. And a lot of times people put extra, and in Malachi, yes, it says there's a blessing that you cannot contain if you give unto the Lord what He's asked for. He said to prove me with that.
Right.
But
you have to go into that with the right heart.
Right.
Not with a pretense, not with saying I'll give to you only if you'll just give to me too.
Right.
It's God's not a deal maker.
Right. Right. He's not trying to cut a deal with you. He's not going to say, well, you give me $5,000 and I'll give you a brand new shoulder. Yeah, he's not doing that. He's not going.
He's not a deal.
He's not a deal maker.
Yeah,
no.
He's not going to make a deal with you.
He wants you to love him enough and respect him enough that you give him what he asks for, and he will bless you because you do it because of the right reason, which is because you love him.
Notes. I throwed my notes down, a little too many notes.
That's okay.
Malachi 1:13-14 says, Ye said also, Behold, what a weariness is it, and ye have snuffed at it, saith the Lord of hosts. And ye brought that which was torn, and the lame, and the sick. Thus ye brought an offering. Should I accept this of your hand, saith the Lord? But cursed be the deceiver, which hath in his flock a male, and voweth and sacrificeth unto the Lord a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just really kind of confirming what we had just said.
Right.
We're not giving God back. You don't see the love of God in people anymore to where we're willing to do over and beyond for our neighbor. We're willing to sacrifice some things for other people.
Right.
That we are in contact with, because we don't want a bad name put on ourselves.
Right.
We don't want somebody to say, well, you think you're better than me because you're a Christian. Or we don't, we just want somebody to give us that attaboy, good boy,
right. And an acknowledgement
great, good guy. He'd give you the shirt off his back. He's a great guy.
Right.
But great guy don't get you to heaven.
That's right.
It really doesn't. And I think that's what the problem is that because we don't physically see God, people are just like, well, okay, God understands. God can see past that. And God has one way for everybody.
That's right.
Across the board. He doesn't make a deal with you. We have an understanding. No, we don't have an understanding.
He doesn't
with God.
treat one person better than he treats another.
You believe God, and you do your part because you love God, and we love God because He first loved us.
Right.
Way before we even knew Him. So we just want to give back. You want to give back because you love Him so much. You just want to give back to Him. And we talked about it before in a couple of our videos. By loving God, we take care of His people.
Right.
We help them out.
That's right.
We do things for them. And not only that, is we change ourselves.
That's right.
To be more like Christ. And that's the really important thing, is sacrificing.
That mindset. Yes, right.
Sacrificing that sinful mindset that you've always had all your life.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrificing the flesh, crucifying it, and just living for Him. That way He can use you on this earth.
That's right.
He can work through you in this body that we have, that He will use as we can continue to spread the gospel and just show people who God is.
Right. What you just said right there is just like Paul said it, I think it's Romans 13, or it might be 12. 12 or 13, I don't know. But he basically said, our life is a living sacrifice, which is our worthy service unto God, which means that's the least we can do. And is sacrifice our life in service to him.
Right.
The number 2 thing he said was, going along with your good deeds, is you can't do enough good deeds to get into heaven.
That's right.
He said that our good works is like filthy rags, which is basically saying our good works or everything that we do for God or for what we do for other people is like dirty tampons. That's what that means. Well, that's what it means. And right here, like you said also, behold, what a weariness it is that you have snuffed at it, saith the Lord of hosts. And you brought that which is torn and lame and sick. Now, weariness. People go to church and they're so basically just, oh, let me show. Oh, hey, we're here. Yeah, all right. Can't wait till we get out of here. Hurry up. Oh, service goes fast.
Right. On what God's trying to give you and what he's doing for you in your life. I mean, you have life just to get to church, but you sit there and just kind of like huff at it. It's like, oh my goodness, I wish it'd hurry up and get over. I'm ready to get out of here. I don't even want to be here. And you
got people looking over other people's shoulders. All right now, preacher.
Yeah, or you're passing notes with people and or you're thinking about what you're going to do when you get home, or you're playing on your phone, or whatever the case is. You're snuffing. Basically, that's what it is. It's like, whatever. And we can't be like that. We really need to pay attention, and we never want to take advantage of what God has for us, or what God has for anybody, for any of you that's listening today. Don't take advantage of that.
Right.
So, but what we were saying, I have got something extra to add when we get further in our.
I know.
When we get further in there about some things, how we just kind of take advantage. We just take advantage.
We do. We take advantage.
And we think just because we do good deeds, or we're doing a lot of things in the community, or we're just going and doing extra stuff, and even though you might be full of sin,
right,
you're still doing the stuff you're not supposed to be doing that doesn't please God.
Right.
But you think, oh, it's okay. God understands. I'm doing all these great things.
Right. As long as I go to church,
and
long as I do what I'm supposed to, if I can present myself as a sin-free person, and I go to church and all these things, and what happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. Nobody will know. Everybody will think I'm the greatest Christian that ever walked the earth.
That goes back to trying to please men and not God.
Right.
And we're not really talking about pleasing men and pleasing God, but what we're trying to explain is that we come in presenting that we're good, clean people,
right,
and then that we're where we're supposed to be, and people, Christians will come in and even preach a good word or do some great things, but if they got a lot of things covered up, and you're not sacrificing those things to be God, a son of God. It is like the word says, we've been given the power to become sons of God.
That's right.
But what are we doing with that power?
Right.
Are we putting away the sin? Are we walking in the footsteps of Jesus? Are we transforming? Are we truly doing that?
Right.
And that's a question that we all need to ask ourselves.
Yes, that's very important. Very important.
Yes.
Because you can say the prayer of salvation, but if you have no belief behind it, and you have no intention of changing, then it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, it's all about the heart.
That's right. It's about your mindset and your heart and what you think. Believe.
Malachi 2, verses 1 and 2 says, And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If ye will not hear, and if ye will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, saith the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart. Verses 7 and 8 says, For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
That's right.
But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Verses, oh, excuse me. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith the Lord of hosts. Verse 13. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears, with weeping and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering any more, or receiveth it with good will at your hand. Verse 16. For the Lord, the God of Israel, saith that he hateth putting away, for one covereth violence with his garment, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously. In verse 17, you have wearied the Lord with your words, yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? When ye say, every one that doeth evil is good in the sight of the Lord, and he delighteth in them, or where is the God of judgment?
That's
That,
right.
that goes back to what we were just saying.
Right.
If you say you're a Christian,
Very important.
if you say you're a Christian, and you've said the sinner's prayer, you've went through all that, you've been baptized, and you still have weakness and sin in your life, that's what it's talking about. You're going to the altar, you're asking for healing,
Right.
you're asking for riches, you're asking for a new car, you're asking for something,
Right.
but you're living in wickedness, you're living in sin. You're just crying out on the altar anymore. You don't even have nothing to offer God anymore. It's like you said, the sinner's prayer. It's like you wanted to be saved,
Right.
but you didn't want to change the way you were living.
Right.
You wanted to continue in the way you were living. That's not salvation. Salvation is about conforming to Christ. It's transforming into the image of Christ. Exactly.
Right.
Renewing the mind, having the mind of Christ, walking in his footsteps. Because when you're truly saved, when you're truly say you're a Christian, is when your heart changes.
That's
when
right.
you love God and you allow him to come in and change who you are, who you were before, and
That's right.
transform you into the image of Christ.
That's right.
And that is an ongoing process.
That's right.
That's an everyday process. It's not magically overnight. God can deliver you from many things.
Right.
But then you also have a lifelong commitment to this. And you have to allow God to come in and change who you are.
That's right.
We always want more and more and more from God. But what are we willing to give back to him?
Right.
What are we willing to give up for him? What are we willing to do for him?
Right.
In this earth, in this body? That's the question that we need to make sure we're where we need to be. So we're not the one crying over the altar every day.
That's right.
And then we don't have anything to offer.
Right.
We're not offering anything because we cover our wickedness and our sin behind the garments, our violence.
That's right. Just like you say, very important. Very, very important. We can't say one thing and then do another.
Right.
And it really is a surrendering. You have to surrender to God. You have to subject yourself to God. You basically have to give up. You give up your life. That is why it's called a sacrifice. This is why Paul was talking about. We live a life of sacrifice for the Lord, and that is our good that we can do for him, because we really do have to give up everything that's me so that he can come in and be better and make me better. He has to come in. I need to have the mind of Jesus Christ. I need to have Jesus Christ's actions. I need to speak like Christ speaks. I need to do all the things that he did. It's not about David, it's about Christ. And that's another reason why we have to keep ourselves humble too, because people give you a little bit of praise. Sometimes you get puffed up a little bit and you go, hey, I'm doing something. No, you're not. You're not doing that. It's all of God that's inside you. Right. It's nothing to do with you, and I'm not trying to insult
and
anybody.
yeah, when you get a compliment, it's like thank you, but when you say thank you, deep down that it really wasn't you in the first place.
That's right.
Thank you for confirming that God is working through me.
That's right.
That's really what.
What you're doing.
It's really what it means. You know, if you're a true Christian and you really know what the Word says and you know who God is, you're saying thank you because it's like, oh, thank you, God. You know, give God all the glory for that because, you know, we're just people and we can't do anything without the Holy Spirit, without God leading us, guiding us.
And it says, this commandment is for you when it's talking to the priest, which priest, I know everybody would assume that would be the pastor, but as a Christian, you too show a lifestyle of what Christ is in your life. We are all examples of Christ, not just the pastor. That's very important. You're just as influential as the pastor is.
Yes.
Now, that's why he says that your lips should keep knowledge, that it should see the law at his mouth, for he's the messenger of the Lord of hosts. But you are departed out of the way, you have caused many to stumble at the law, you have corrupted the covenant. And that's what the problem is. If you're a Christian, or at least claim to be Christian, and you stumble or you constantly falter at the law, or you falter in your life with sin,
or if you're willfully sinning,
yes, that too, then you're causing other Christians to see, well, if it's okay for him to smoke, well, it's okay for me to smoke.
Yeah, if it's okay to you to do drugs, or it's
okay
he
for
drinks
you
to
beer.
lie.
Oh, well, then I go back to drinking beer. All right,
and, you know, those itself is not really sin, but it leads to sin. These things lead to sin.
Right.
So, you know, that's what it means by stumbling. You can cause others to stumble.
And like you said before, when you always come to the altar, and it says right here, as you have done again, covering the altar with tears, with weeping and crying aloud, insomuch that he regarded not the offering anymore, because you can't come to the altar every single day or every Sunday or whenever you go to church or even at your home or whatever. It also says in the Bible that you will become calloused to it.
Yes.
You can't come every single day and say, oh, Lord, please forgive me for sinning, Lord. Lord, please forgive me with this smoking, Lord. Lord, just come back and just help me quit smoking, Lord. And the next day you go smoke again. The next day you're on your knees again.
And then you have no intent. Yeah, that's what you have to be. You know, you got to watch for that. You know, you can cover it from other people on what the intent of your heart, because other people can't see the intent of your heart. You can say something all day long, no matter what it's about, no matter what subject it is about. You can say things to people and cover that from them. But you can't cover it from God. God sees the heart. God sees the intent of the heart. And when you go to the altar and you're always asking for things at the altar and everything else, please do this, please do that. But if you don't have the intent in your heart that you truly mean it, then, you know, and I know a lot of people that actually has given an impression of, okay, God, I'll stop this if you'll do this for me.
Right.
Or I'll do this if you
want to make
do
a
this
deal
for me.
with God.
And a lot of people try to make deals with him too. But the thing is, we can't.
Well, it says right there, take therefore heed to your spirit that you deal not treacherously. Right.
Don't speak a good word, but yet behind closed doors, you're somebody else, or outside of the church, you're somebody else. You don't. A lot of people have no shame in that.
Oh yeah.
There's been numerous
like two lives.
numerous of pastors.
Oh yeah.
That have come in and they're awesome. They preach the word. They're awesome. But outside of the church, you wouldn't even know they were pastors.
Right.
And that's causes other people to stumble.
That's right.
Because they think, oh, okay. And then some of the same people are saying, well, we're all going to sin. We're all going to continue to sin. So, but, God overlooks these things because you're saved and all that's already forgiven. So everything's okay. But the word says, oh, no. No. God forbid.
That's right.
No, get in there. Read what the word says about it.
Grace does abound, but God forbid you use it against it.
That's right. Basically. So we need to remember that and not to make others stumble. It's not a do as I say it and not as I do. We look to other people as examples also. So you have to remember that. There's always somebody going to be watching you. Somebody somewhere is going to be watching you.
That's right.
And they're really going to pay attention to what you're doing. Don't cause them to stumble. And make sure you're where you're at when you come to the altar. Make sure you're bringing something to the altar. What are you bringing to God today at that altar? What are you giving Him? What are you pouring out to Him?
That's right.
What do you want Him to take from you?
Right.
What do you want from Him? But at the same time, what are you bringing to Him?
Right.
You're bringing your life. You bring your life to Him.
That's right.
Everything that's in that in your life, so He can have something to work with. Give Him something. Give Him something. Don't just always ask Him for something, but give Him something.
Right.
Your time, your effort, your praise. All of these things for Him.
Right. And just like King David said in Psalms, he said, "Search my heart and see that I no longer sin against you." So when he came to confess his sins, he said, "Search my heart."
Search my heart. See if there's
anything unclean in
right.
me. Yes.
Yeah. And that's what we need to see, because every person has something that they could get rid of.
Improve on. Yes.
They can improve on, that they can get rid of in their life.
Right.
Even if it's just maybe a bad attitude towards one thing. Maybe you have resentment to one person from 30 years ago.
Right.
That you just makes your skin crawl when you think about them. I'm just being real.
I know, because I got you.
But I'm just saying, there's always something. If you look deep enough and you really thoroughly search yourself, you'll find something. So, we just want to, I believe that times are short.
It is short.
And we just don't have time to sit around playing around with Christianity and salvation.
That's right.
We really don't. We don't have time for that.
You're absolutely right.
And this, I'm hoping, and we're hoping that this will help somebody, anybody. It helps us.
Right.
To look and to be able to look a little bit deeper and say, just to search ourselves to make sure, are we making anybody stumble? Are we living the wrong lifestyle? Can people tell that we are good people and not, a bad person, or wicked person, or whatever you want to say?
Right.
But anyway.
But you're absolutely right. The times are short and the games are over. I mean, really, truthfully. Because you never know when it might be your last breath. And heaven and hell is a real place, and it only takes one step to get either way.
Malachi 3, verses 2 through 5. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord, as the days of old, and as in former years. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, and against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith the Lord of hosts.
Like we said, that day is right around the corner.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, it really is.
Yes.
And Jesus is the one who is there like a refiner's fire, like a fuller's soap. He's there to refine you, to purify you, if you just come unto him and repent unto him and let him purify you.
That's right, he will. I mean, it's like...
But you got to give it all.
It's like, refining fire. I mean, refining gold and silver. It gets all the impurities out of it, and the best comes to the top. And just like Fuller's soap, it's the soap that they used to scrub the old wool off of sheep when they were done, so it could be usable.
Well, the trashy wool that was
the nasty, the gross, the dirty parts,
the ones that
and
they would
scrub
away.
it, and it had to have stunk and just was horrible, and it had to be a really harsh soap, but it cleaned that wool to be used, and that's what Christ will do with us. He'll be like that with us, a refiner's fire, and like Fuller's soap. Clean all that nasty out of it. But we've got to stay on track.
That's right.
We can't just do one thing and say another.
Right.
We have to live what we speak. And we have to make sure we're where we need to be and we're going in the right direction all the time, because it's so easy to turn around and go the wrong direction.
It is easy to lose more than you gain, because it is a hard process to get to where you need to be, and it's difficult to go through the refinement.
Yes.
But it's so worth it.
Yes, it is. Malachi 3:16-17. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts. In that day, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him.
That's right.
I like the jewel part. I just got stuck on that when I was reading it. And I was like stuck on it. And I'm thinking, you know what? If I'm going to go get jewels and I'm going to gather up jewels for myself, I'm going to pick the best ones.
That's right.
I'm going to pick the prettiest ones, the cleanest ones, the purest ones. That's what I was thinking, the purest jewels. We've got to be pure to be a jewel for Christ, for the Lord. And the Lord's only going to have pure jewels.
That's right.
So we have to just kind of think about that.
Well, we're in Malachi, so I might as well talk about it. You know, we talk about that 10%, or the first fruits, which is the very best of what you have is what you give back to God, that 10%. The very best of what you have, that 10% of the best. That's what you give to God. Well, guess what? He's going to make us like jewels. He's going to make us the best of the best. Do you not know that God calls us who make it into heaven his first fruits?
The best.
The best. That's right.
The best. Malachi 4:1-4. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb, for all Israel, with the statutes and the judgments.
That's right.
I've got something in my throat.
It's okay. We're going to take a sip of water after this.
All that do wickedly shall be stubble.
That's right.
And shall burn them up. And there won't be root or branch.
That's right. In the end of days.
That's the wickedness.
In the end of days.
The wicked.
All evil is going to be snuffed out. It's gone.
There won't even be a root left to be able to know that they were existing.
Never come back. That's right. But those.
We need to make sure we're not one of those being burned up.
That's absolutely right. Because you have to realize something. It's very important what he says right here. That those who fear my name, and those who remember the law of my servant Moses, which I commanded unto him in Horeb, of all Israel with the statutes and judgments. That's very important, because why? God cannot be in the presence of sin. Not even a little bit of sin.
He's not going to.
No sin. He will not be in the presence of sin. And if he destroys all sin on earth, there's not one chance ever that you're going to make it into heaven with sin, because he ain't going to have that. If he's going to destroy earth to get rid of sin, you know good and well he ain't going to have it in heaven. He's going to be taking out the trash. It ain't happening.
That's right. That's right.
But if you fear him and you fear that ending, then you need to know that the Son of Righteousness will arise with healing in his wings, and you shall be changed instantaneously.
That's right. That's right. We need to make sure that we're sure that we can stand before the Lord. We really do. And you know, and when And when we do, we'll arise with healing.
In our wings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But unto you that fear my name, and not just fearing the Lord.
No.
There's a lot more to that. This is righteous fear.
That's righteous fear.
Of
That's right.
knowing
It's not being
who
scared
God
of him.
is. It's not running away hiding, but we know what he can do. He can just
that's it.
Wipe us out. Just say,
you never exist.
You don't exist anymore.
That's right.
We know that. But we also know that he can create too.
That's right.
Just a thought, he can just make something happen.
And he said,
and it's awesome.
You don't even have a clue of how wonderful things are that he's got waiting on you if you come on up here and do what he says.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that we're where we're at, and to give God
the reverence,
something back in return, the reverence. You know, you go to, if we're going to the altar and we want something from God, and we want him to do these things for us, what are we doing for him? Are we reverencing him? Is God glorified in our bodies? Number one. I mean, so many people, I can't say it enough, so many people want so much from God.
That's right.
But is God being glorified in your body? Completely.
Right.
Not just what people see, but what people don't see. Because it's not about the people, it's about God. And once you're in line with God, and once your relationship is, you're connected.
That's right.
With God, then all of this other stuff's going to fall in. It's not going to matter. You're going to have people that hate you no matter what. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're doing good or bad.
Right.
You're going to have haters.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's fact. But
the world don't change.
It's how you react to these things.
Right.
We don't have to go over and beyond to please every person that comes past us. Oh, well, that's my old drinking buddy. I'm going to go out and drinking with him tonight.
No.
Oh, well, that's all my old girlfriend that I run around with when I was married. I'm going to just hang out with her tonight.
Nope.
Oh, but I'm going to church tomorrow morning, and I'm going to ask God for a raise. I mean, I'm not
I got what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying. So those things, it's just not going to work.
Right.
You know, sometimes you got to say no. You got to say, that's not my lifestyle anymore. I'm not doing that. God's going to be glorified in my body. And we need to make sure that he is glorified in our body. And then we're not coming empty-handed to him. We never need to come empty. No, we don't have to bring a calf and put it on the altar and burn it and sacrifice it. That's not what we do anymore. Christ is our sacrifice to God. I mean, Christ was the sacrifice for our sins to God.
Right.
And that's why we have salvation, because we receive that and we partake of that sacrifice of Christ. Right. We partake of that. We say, okay, Christ sacrificed for us. I'm going to partake of that with him through the salvation. And we don't have to do that anymore. But every day, we have to sacrifice things every day in this sinful world, because the devil's always around the corner trying to tempt us and trying to make us bring life to sin in our lives. Okay? So we just need to bring something to God. What are we giving to God? Are we just yielding our body to him to where he can work through us in this earth to give him glory, to exalt his name, to exalt Jesus Christ?
That's right.
Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? In front and behind closed doors.
Right.
Are we doing that? Because it's not about what men think of us, but it is about what God thinks of us, because nobody's going to get you to heaven, but this is a relationship between you and God.
Right.
And he's going to see what's in your heart. So when we go and ask God for something, we need to make sure we're bringing something to him.
That's right.
We may need to make sure we're living our life constantly sacrificing for him.
That's
and
right.
And reverencing him, and that he is glorified in us.
Right. And you hear that a lot. You hear honor, reverence,
yes.
glorify. Let me give you a simpler term: respect.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, respect is given when respect is earned. Well, he's given you everything you've ever had, including your life.
Yes.
I think he earns a little bit of your respect.
Yes.
So I think that we should respect and honor God.
Yes.
I think that we should live up to, a lot of people say that when Christ died that it got rid of sacrificial laws. Well, technically it did. But at the same time, what does Paul say? Paul says, I am crucified with Christ. Every single day, let there be a sacrifice where you are crucified with Christ and you sacrifice your life unto him that you might walk in his footsteps, think as he thinks, and have the love that's in his heart towards all of us as you should have in your heart. And let that be your example for everyone to see.
Yes. Hope y'all enjoyed us joining us today. Here I did really good about not getting tongue-tied this whole time, and now I'm going to get tongue-tied.
That's right.
But we thank you for joining us. We love you, and we will see you again soon. Be blessed, and happy Father's Day to all of you fathers today, and happy Father's Day to our Heavenly Father above.
That's right.
Thank you. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.